Good afternoon, free enterprise community. I'm going to say good afternoon because I'm over here in Jersey on the East Coast, also known as the Best Coast, and I will not accept any discourse on this particular topic. My name is John Burkett, and I am here for some wacky commentary on this wacky race with a wacky named Joker Mage. Joker, how you doing, brother?
Hey, John, I found your moon pearl at floor 50 in the mines in oh wait, I'm sorry, this is an archipelago, is it?
It is not, but even then, I could just ask my buddy Josh to go ahead and hook me up. But that's okay. It's a little inside joke we have going on over here. But the fact that we are referencing other games is relevant because we have kind of a little bit of lore going over here. For those of our friends over in the Worlds Collide community, Possum and Ty Bolt, who have deep roots in the free enterprise community, had a bit of a race going on. And I believe in a little while they're going to have a trifecta of free enterprise, Worlds Collide, and Mystic Quest coming up. So it's kind of fun to see. I don't know, maybe like an origin story. Maybe one of them becomes a villain, one becomes a hero. It's getting to the point where when these two are competing against each other, it's a show to be seen. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, speaking of Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, Final Fantasy VI zombies are a pretty normal thing, but they're pretty unusual in Final Fantasy IV. So if this was Final Fantasy VI, the solution to this entire wacky race is just get a bunch of revivifies. That's not an option here. So instead, we're going to have to resort to violence.
Yep, violence is generally the best for most things. I find in the role-playing game community, if you just have overwhelming power and force, you can kind of go ahead and have your way with it. So, in our free enterprise, we have a full subset of flags called Wacky flags, which ranging in different levels of fun, in my personal opinion. The zombie flag. Essentially, should one of our characters be put down to deathity death, they will come back in a charmed state at about 50% health, in which case they need to be deathity deathed again. And then they should stay down for the duration of that fight. If they are dead at the very beginning of the race, then they, at the beginning of any particular match, they will be a zombie already. We'll see as we go. We've got Iridia, we've got a Cid, we have a blue robe, and we have an earth crystal.
All right, so that gives us some interesting early options. We do know that this is K main, K summon, K moon, and K no free. So there is a demist hunt. So heading over to use that, spend that earth crystal in Toria isn't also going to result in anything when you go check bedward. But early treasury is always nice.
Yep, we are on T Wildish max tier 6, so we're not going to be see anything too ludicrous in terms of overwhelming power, but there's lots of nice stuff to be had. I think the big get in this particular flag set would be a cursed ring. We are on C standard, that means we're not on C hero. Agility manipulation is the name of the game when it comes to running free enterprise efficiently. It takes some getting used to, but once you have the hang of it, you're good. Normally, when you are on C standard, you find an anchor and you leave them down, and you're done. With the zombie flag, keeping them dead is going to be hilarious, and much like a thriller music video, not really all that doable. So if we find a curse string, if we find a dwarf axe for that Cid, or something, that's going to be a big get. So let's see what we get here as we are raiding that treasury.
I do know from like I see hero seeds that Sid is a great living hero, or in this case, undead hero, because he does not ever get very much agility whatsoever. So that may be the solution, is just leave that Sid in the center spot.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. Early game, you want to be fast anchored and have a quick, have a quick character in there. That Cid with that arty bow plus 10 agility, and then that crystal ring a plus 5 agility. That might be a fast anchored Cid, which is not something you see every day. So we have a little bit of extra wacky here, I think. Both runners are electing to go ahead and combine the gated treasury with the free treasury. But yeah, that the power of Cid plus of that agility manip at the beginning, Crystal Ring's amazing defense as well. There are no free characters to get, but I think both of our runners are going to feel very comfortable going ahead and taking on some of these early checks.
Additionally, we do have the MP glitch, which means our casters are going to be extra special, especially Tella, who normally is sort of kicked out later in the game once that 90 magic power is just not enough. No longer an issue as long as you can keep him alive.
Yeah. It does come with some restrictions if you use casting ahead of time, or if you cast spells when you're in your menu, you can go ahead and lose your glitch there. Possum's getting started, putting Sid in the center with the crystal ring, not with the arty bow. The poison axe has very good attack power. The downside of the poison axe is the accuracy can be a little bit suspect, so he's counteracting that by putting Sid in the center row where he gets an accuracy bonus. And speaking of characters that can equip a poison axe, we have Kane.
And also we have leg. So we're going to want to, yeah, that's going to be a zombie very shortly.
Oh, look at that! Ooh, womp womp. And dead again there a little bit. There you see the power of that poison axe when the accuracy hits, plus the Zeus gauntlet. Possum has his ruby, and Tybolt is right behind.
Yeah, but as we can see, like that, Riddy unfortunately did not get any XP from that, and briefly went over to the evil side.
Yeah, I wouldn't say unfortunately. I think that's very much done by design. When you have a level 1 child radio with no gear and no summons, even as a zombie, the potential for that radio causing problems is pretty low. I think the worst thing you could possibly do is summon a chocobo, so I think they're going to be fine there.
Do you think that's going to be a plan? Is just to like leave the Rydia in the center and not do anything with her?
Absolutely. I think we're going to be fast anchored for a while here. But yeah, any opportunity you have to go ahead and have a to have an anchor set up, it just when you're as experienced as these runners are, they know how to go ahead and manipulate the mechanics of the game to make sure that their characters go when they want them to go. You're not going to see that Riddy in the center for quite some time. If there's a hook route, you'll probably see it for the second one, maybe for back attack ordeals, but it's really not likely that you're going to be seeing her there soon. But she will certainly be there eventually.
Okay, and we got the good doctor in the Antlion Cave, and we'll see what comes out of this as well. In the meantime, we haven't really talked about the objectives here. So Cave Magnus and Forge the Legend Sword are fixed ones that were put in place, but all the others were randomly generated for this seed. We have Baron Castle Basement, Get Edge, Launch the Falcon, Trade Away Pinktail, and Defeat Valvalis. So Edge is a character hunt. Valvalis is a boss hunt. Everything else is just, your standard quests. And that's a pan.
That is a pan. Always good to see before you get underground. Our underground access has not really quite presented itself. Possum realizing he does not have an exit in his inventory, so he'll probably just be walking out and heading over to Fubul for the next set of checks. Yeah, these are all pretty standard. It might, guide your routing a little bit as options approach itself. An assassin dagger. That particular chest is known as either the Woo Bear or the Possum chest. If it is absolute hot garbage and trash, it is known as a Possum chest, and if it is good, as a Woo Bear chest. Assassin dagger pretty early. Not for nothing, I would probably call that a Possum chest. That's an extra +5 agility, a nice little bit of manip. Yeah, not too bad at all.
And Tybalt's Rydia did get some experience. She's already on level 12.
Right, so he might have different plans for anchoring. She doesn't get terribly fast, so Curse String could certainly slow her down, or maybe he wants to go ahead and have Warp or use her for AoE. We just saw a Sork Rope in Baron Inn, so that's certainly something that Rydia can wear.
Yeah, and this is another Rydia, but it's also Magnus Sisters.
Yeah, a little rude. This spot can get a little funky with the agility. If you get really lucky, you can actually get it so that the Fire 2 cast can actually kill Cindy, because there's a variable agility cast there.
Oh, that's a nasty zombie.
Yeah, that's not great. It's not the end of the world, but this is definitely going a little topsy-turvy here. This might end up being a reset, because even if you can go ahead and get through this, the second fight can be a little tricky as well. So here we see a life pot going on the zombie. That's not how alchemy works. And no, just
As we said at the beginning, violence is the answer, and then you can resort to chemistry.
not great. Kane finding all kinds of new and creative ways to go ahead and betray us. So we're gonna try this again. Again, the agility can be variable here, so there's a good chance that this Fire 2 could just go ahead and take out Cindy. It does not. And we're going to be hoping that it takes out Rydia, which is perfect. So now we can get 2 attacks to go ahead and take out Mindy and Cindy. Hopefully nobody gets charmed. And then off we go.
And meanwhile, Tybalt looks like is in fact doing Zot.
Well, I mean, it's 2 characters. The first spot in Zot is quite slow. So if you are fast anchored, then you are in pretty good shape with that, as we see a kind of annoying CPU here. It's free. CPU is always free. Sometimes it's just more annoying than others. So he'll get through this with no problem. It just might take a little bit of time. But yeah, it's 9,000 HP at the first spot and 6,000 in the second spot of Zot. With the agility anchoring, you can really go ahead and get through pretty quickly. Also, I think Tybalt just killed that flame dog with fire arrows, which is okay. And just a silver apple for his trouble. And then with the second spot, you'll want to go ahead and slow anchor, but you'll have quite possibly 2 new characters. And like you were talking about earlier with the objectives, right? Edge is one of our objectives, and there's 2 characters up here. We are on a bit of a boss hunt, not only for Val, which is in our objectives, but also for Demist. So I think both of our runners are going to do this eventually anyway. Tybalt is just going there first.
Okay, so let's say let's just think of like where's the rudest place to find our objectives. So Edge, I think, is obviously back of Giant, right? Like if that's where Edge is, we're probably not seeing Edge.
Yeah, that would be gross. No question about that. Or if you have a sand ruby that is gated behind, a whole bunch of things. We are only requiring 6 out of 7 here, so at least we have that going for us. But that could be gross. There's no question.
And so, where would be the rudest spot to find Val?
Val's not awful here, as we see an Odin in the first spot. Which can be a little spooky. Don't know if we have lit arrows or not. We don't. We're going to get a lot of turns here, but without Berserk, this could be a bit of a thing here. 9,000 is quite a bit to chew through. That lit bolt is HP based, and it hits the weakness, so we're about 2,300 through. And Rydia doing her Rydia best with an extra 8. We might get through this because of the amount of turns we can take, but this is definitely a little bit scary.
Yeah.
So Val's not terrible. I'm sorry to answer your question earlier. Val's not terrible, really anywhere when you have Kane and you're anchored. But 42,000 at the Ruin Room is definitely quite rude.
Yeah. So meanwhile, Possum is checking the sort of free boss spots, the early boss spots for that Demist. Found King Queen Evelyn, which is not the royal family members we were hoping to find. And I didn't see what was that waterfall, but it wasn't Demist. And so Possum is also going to be joining Tybalt and Zot.
Yep, there is a possibility of jumping over the Zentutsekin, which might be his way through here. He's close to that 9,000. I have not been counting all the way through here, but if this goes off, then that Odin's definitely going to chomp and slice. And ooh, Sid lives. I know that there's a particular Elven Sorrow in chat who's not very big on Sid, but maybe this will go ahead and change his mind about it. Zombies do not get XP, so that 9,000 of XP is only going to go onto Sid and not everybody else. But Tybalt is through.
Yeah, and Sid just has a lot of health, can soak that, which is exactly what you needed in that situation. They were just like on the edge, and that 6 damage from Rydia was not going to do it.
I mean, she's doing her, she's hitting for her age, right? Was she 5, 6? I don't know. Also, apparently dupes are on.
Well, so we know where Val is.
We do, yeah. That Val is at Dwarf 2, so we'll be heading there. Do we have Warp Glitch on for this particular flag set?
And Dwarf 2 has very low HP, as I recall. It's like one of the easier spots from what I remember.
It is. It's only 3,000, and the big thing with Val, as we see Telly here, Tella and Yang are not the characters you're hoping to find here, by the way. Um, the big thing with Val is finding the spots where her her spin can be affected by magic. Now, we haven't really found any characters that have any, actual viable, useful magic just yet, so that's not terribly relevant. Val at the second spot can be affected by magic, so Val is rarely free, but she's pretty free there. And speaking of not having any magic or any AoE, this is fun.
Yeah, we didn't even get a chance really to set up MP glitch, so that Tella's not doesn't have anything either. I'm not sure if he'd even have any really useful spells at this point that would get us through this. But on
No.
the other side, we do see Possum is collecting zombie girls.
Yep. Boss is in fact collecting zombie girls. He's also playing Free Enterprise too, so it's weird how, one habit can. Oh, he's not going to listen to this back. It's fine. Yep, but he is through. He did get experience on his cane, so that's going to be a plus for him. He has two anchors, one of which will more than likely be heading on out of here, and he'll find the ever so fun and exciting news of the fact that we have a delightful, fun little gauntlet here. Both of our runners did use their lit bolt as they should have for that Odin, but that's really the only piece of AoE here. So I think the only thing that gives you kind of solace as a runner here is you understand that both people are probably coming here, and while it's certainly frustrating to be going through a fight like this without a virus caster or a quake caster or a Stardust Rod or something like that, you know that your other runner is in the same boat that you are.
Yeah, we see the zombies are attacking each other. That Yang went down to, I think, one of the others, but either that or was it the ice beast took it out. I'm not entirely sure, but now you got the Yang has died a second time. He's just going to lay down for the rest of the fight unless we use a life pot on him.
Mm-hmm. So Possum has opted not to go ahead and go with that Yang over here. Um, Maybe we're gonna put the crystal ring on Tella to get Tella to go first, because I think base agility for Rydia is 4, and I think Tella's base agility is either 8 or 9. But nope, not yet. Yeah, Possum's gonna get the good news here. The Wacky Flag really impacts this because you don't get a turn in between the encounters to kind of figure it out here. So this is definitely a thing that's happening.
Yeah, it's just right now we're just like building up a zombie horde and hopefully getting through that. But it also seems like neither runner's really in wants to get their zombies back on their side. They're content to just let them feast on brains.
Yeah, I mean, if Tybolt is gonna keep that Yang, oh, this should be interesting. If Tybolt is gonna keep that Yang, then Yang thrives on levels. He's referred to as a punch mage very often because the more levels he gets, the stronger he is. Gear doesn't really do all that much for him, even if it is a cat claw or a poison claw or what have you. But yeah, this is just gross. This is just gross and frustrating. Tybolt, remember that he has a flame spear that can be used as a weapon. That's good for the Flan, because general melee attacks do not do much against that. I think this is Tybolt's last
yeah,
fight.
that's what I was wondering too. So he should be almost done with that. But like you said, it's really unfortunate that if you were planning on using that Yang, he's mostly just spent the entire time undead.
Yeah, I mean, there's other places to go ahead and get him experience if that's going to be a character that gets used. We are on Distinct 11. Cecil's out there. We know that Edge is out there. Foo's out there. It's rare that Yang is anyone's first choice. The only time that you might really go ahead and hold on to him is if you get him early, or if you have the ability to go ahead and like sling him on the giant or something. So I think this probably just confirms the fact that Yang probably isn't going to be staying in this party once better options arise. Sid's muted. That's a problem. No, it's not. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and Tybalt's radio has ran out of magic and is continuing to cast spells, which is, just what Charm does, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, Blink on the Witch. That's not great.
And pretty funny, though. Mostly because I'm not the one running it. Oh, psych. You psyched yourself, Tatella. Yeah, you did. This is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
so they're going to have to fight a couple times just to chew through the Blink.
Oh, man. Alchemy, did you choose this? Was this your idea? This is great. This is glorious.
It wasn't my. Well, I made the flag set, but it wasn't my choice. I rolled a literal wheel, and it chose zombies. So blame the wheel of the Wacky.
I'm not blaming the wheel of the Wacky. I'm thanking the wheel of the Wacky.
Fair enough.
Possum's Tella has gone down a little bit. Pos came up the tower significantly later. But it seems like he's not going to be all that far behind if we can actually go ahead and kind of get through this here. Oh, hey.
Darkness Crystal. Okay.
Oh, God. And we do have a Tella. And we have a Rydia that can get slung to nuke. Well, this is interesting.
So what you're saying is D-Money is on the table now.
What I'm saying is that one way or another, we're definitely going to go ahead and so is that Yang. By the way, you sling that Yang and sling that Rydia, and you are you're good to go. It might not be like the value of doing a D machine grind goes down as time goes on. I'm pretty sure that we're on S standard here. It's very likely that there's a 90% chance that we're going to go ahead and find Siren somewhere.
Yeah, okay. Possum is going for Mount deals to get Tella online, and that's the initial step usually for D-Money.
I mean, we don't have any underground access. I mean, I think we're kind of pigeonholed here anywhere to begin with, but it's certainly on the table. He's got one ready to stay down. I don't know how a zombied character would really impact a D-Machine grind. Although I guess you wouldn't have to kill them till the end, really. Because if they're charmed and they hit the D-Machine, that could definitely be frustrating. But I guess you could just keep them alive until it's time for them no longer to be alive.
Yeah, you could also potentially just hit them and leave them down. I'm not sure if that's an option, because I think I believe if I remember correctly, the second time you knock the zombie down, they just stay down, right?
I believe so. Well, we're about to find out, because down goes J-Mac twice. Also worth noting that Pos did blink up the other Rydia, very much declaring intentions for that Rydia to stay alive. So, it's D-Machine very much on the table. These dimps could not be less threatening. They are at the lowest attack point of the game, or the lowest attack power of the game. So anytime you see a melee character here, or melee boss here, it's usually a pretty welcome sight, because it can be dimps can be I know that they're a free boss, but if you put them at like Crystal Sword Altar, or put them at Leviathan, or put them in Cave of Bahamut, they can be pretty rude.
Okay, unfortunately on Tybalt's side, Sid just got zombified.
Yep, not great. There was a comment earlier in chat about the boss being free, but patience is not, and Lord knows I subscribe to that particular philosophy. Yeah, if you try to be aggressive and get through this, this can be a little problematic. So we're seeing this fight, unfortunately for Tybolt, is going a little bit sideways.
Sid takes himself out.
Yep, and those lasers are going to go, or masers, excuse me, are going to do 10% of your HP every time. So you'll see around 61, 62 HP. So this is still very, very doable, especially with the ability to go ahead and jump. He has recovered, he will get through. It's just not going to be quite as quick as he would have liked.
And meanwhile, we got back attack Evil Wall at Ordeals 2.
Yeah, not great, but obviously not terrible, because we are through. Defense Sword Kane, I mean, that is Kane's kind of ultimate weapon. The White Spear does slightly more damage, but the accuracy is less, so Defense Sword is considered to be his ultimate weapon. And you have a Poison Axe, or you can go Artie Bow for Sid. The power is there to get through these early bosses, plus the agility manipulation. So no harm, no foul there.
Okay, and Tibble has not gone to Antlion Cave yet, does not have the pan yet, so doesn't know that it's just Dr. Luge with a pan.
Yeah, it's we have there's a very very good runner who hasn't been around in a little while, PK, who became known for fading Antlion. So it's possible that might get put in there. Also, was that the Magma key that we just saw there?
Yes.
So that might change the calculus a little bit here, as we have a vanilla DKC. Cute. Rather than wait to hear about justice, though, we're just going to go ahead and do violence. Seems to be the theme of the day.
Yep, works every time.
Every time, absolutely. Magma key does change the calculus a little bit. It doesn't immediately open up any of our objectives, though.
Except for Valis.
Oh, that's true, because that dwarf too. Yeah, good call. There are decisions to be had. Anytime you make a decision about a grind, you have to ask yourself, are you going to go ahead and get that time back? A D machine grind, if you're doing a what we would refer to as a 6+6, so you'd have to kill in order to get Rydia to nuke. She would need to be slung. The slingshot is on, and she is in that level range. And you would also need to kill 6 D machines and have 6 life glitches, which is certainly within Possum's ability, especially while anchored. The one hitch is that Tella would need to be in the center slot in order to guarantee that warp is definitely going to go ahead and work. And that might be a little bit tricky with the agility, but it's certainly nothing that he can't handle. So.
Okay, going back to pick up that sorcerer robe, probably for Rydia.
Or maybe Tella if Tella is going to go off slot with those weak casts, that would up the wisdom.
Okay. I guess we'll see if Possum goes to Giant after this. Then it's almost certain that it's D machine is Y.
Yeah, it's also pretty well established in the community that sometimes using the whale is your chance to go ahead and kind of think about what you want to do. Here we see Tybolt immediately looking for the character, and that's the guy. So, oh no, it's not. I'm sorry, I'm missing my pixels. That's a child. That's a very, very, very small child who can also be slung, by the way. So you could have a double sling of white and nuke, but Tybolt is not about that life. And heading back to Earth, whether it's to set up a D machine grind or otherwise, we shall see.
I think Tyrell also checked out the shop, but I missed it myself, so I'm not sure what was available there.
Me too. I got so wrapped up in the sound of my own voice that I wasn't even paying attention to the runners. I don't know why people even have me on here in the first place.
Because you're cool.
Oh, why thank you, Alchemy. Bacchus in the shop. That's definitely handy. We do have a couple of melee characters in here that are pretty loaded and pretty stacked. So.
Okay, so Possum is also checking out what's on the moon.
I mean, yeah, if it's a Palom and you are thinking D machine, that's a double sling. That's double nuke. If it's Foo, then you're probably not going to do the D machine, and you're just going to go underground and blow things up. So it's definitely worth the peak for sure. Makes total sense.
Okay, and I think Tybalt is, going to Ordeals.
Which we do know is the logical point of progression. And we'll be getting his Magma key when he's done with that. A 10-pack of wine. E-Ninja would not think that's enough. Possum clearly does think that is enough. We're going to go check out the character, and we'll see what we're next. So these are the seeds that are always, for me personally, are always the ones that give me complete and total agita and anxiety, because there are valid options to go either way. You're incentivized to go to Dwarf, because that Val is there. Warp glitch is on. You have warp. That's 2 checks, right? You're also looking for edge, and that's a character check. You have a freebie. You have a pan, which means that that's 3 key items right away. There's a lot of valid reasons to just go underground and kind of, bang out your objectives down there. There's also a very valid, rationale of just go to the giant, get overwhelming power, and blow up the game. The sooner you do it, the more of the benefit of it you're going to go ahead and wreak. So there's ways you could go either way here, both of which are perfectly valid.
It's possible too that Possum will go straight to Giant from here, because that's a sort of a routing thing you can do instead of like having to fly back to the Blue Planet and then go to Giant, because Giant will take you right back to Blue Planet in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
we might be heading to hair dryers.
Yeah, this is hair dryers.
Maybe trying to get levels on Porum to ensure that we have a sling, maybe? Not quite sure why we're here. We'll have to ask about this.
And big glitch.
Oh, yeah.
MP glitch would probably make the... that would probably help a lot with the D-money grind, wouldn't it?
It absolutely would. You'd have unlimited week, which is very handy. Let's see if he moves week up there at all. He does not. So we might just be getting some extra experience here. These are punchy. They do hit a little bit. Nice Sammy bow, although we already have an Artie bow, so I don't know how terribly relevant that is. But yeah, Tella can go ahead and cast a lot of Meteo. If any of you have ever watched the vanilla, the speedrun of the vanilla game, there's a lot of Meteo casts that happen. When you have Tella early on. It happens at the Bigan fight, it happens at the Maga Sisters fight, by utilizing this exact glitch here. So,
yeah, those hair dryers have already created 3 zombies on Possum's side.
Yeah. Meteo does have a quite long casting rate here. Bacchus going off as Tybalt is dealing with Evil Wall. Down goes that Rydia again. Zombie Kane lives. Very stacked armor. Tella lives for now. And let's do the Meteo.
So unfortunately, if this goes through, that Quake is not getting any bonus from this.
Yeah, and just a glass hat, which would have helped not get killed. Yeah.
It looks like he is trying to keep Tella alive, though.
I mean, you don't do an MP glitch on Tella to put them down. The MP glitch definitely gives Tella some added versatility for the exact reason that we saw. I mean, it's a good amount of XP, and Glass Hat is a very nice piece of defensive gear. I want to say it's like an extra 20 defense. There is no elemental protection with it. It's strictly against physical attacks, but it's a wonderful, wonderful piece of gear. A little surprised that Pos did that. I can't imagine it was for the gear, and more than likely it was for the levels. So let's see. Oh, 30. Sorry, Goober. We'll see if he's going to drop down that Magma key, or if we're going to see some step manipulation. But if I had to guess, we're heading underground.
Yeah, this right now it feels like. Oh, actually. Oh, okay. Evelyn.
Sure. Okay. Yep. Tella knows stone. All 3 of these can be stoned. And the Glass Hat did go on Tella to help keep him alive. There's a lot of physical attack here.
So what do you think Possum's specifically looking for in these ones?
Depending on who stays alive or who doesn't, setting up your slingshot, I guess. I really don't know. But in the meantime, Tybalt is done with Tybalt has gotten through ordeals and is now even on checks outside of the hairdryers, which, since he's already been to the moon and back, much like my love for these runners and back, he will not be going there. So, depending on what is found here, what's gotten here, Tybalt might be taking a lead, or I don't know. I don't really know what to expect next. But it looks like he's heading, after crushing the town of Agrit, because they know what they did, heading underground.
And how quickly do you think Tubbo will head towards Dwarf Castle? Is that going to be right away, or is there going to be something that he wants to do first?
I mean, if it's me, I do the pan tournament first. That's 3 checks right there. You know, that could be a Sandruba, that could be a package, that leads to a Cecil or a Foo. I missed what the reward was for that first fight.
Excalibur.
Oh, an Excal, so there you go. Yeah, so if it's me, I'm going to do the pan turn-in. That's definitely high on my list. And if if Sirens are for sale, we have the idea of 30 in a dream, where you pop 30 Sirens, everyone has their overwhelming power, and then you blow up the game.
Yeah, and having a ton of Sirens does sort of take the Demon Machine grind off the table.
Mm-hmm. Or at least its viability. But no, Tybalt makes a liar out of me, and we are heading right to Dwarf Castle. We see Tybalt also setting up the warp glitch, which is such a pain in the ass, a pain in the butt, excuse me, to go ahead and pull off. You have to be able to go ahead and move from a spell that you can cast to a spell that you can't cast on the same frame. It definitely, when I've done mystery seeds, I've had seeds where I haven't known if that's really on the table, like if MP glitch is on it or not, just because I have such a difficult time of trying to execute the flag itself.
Right. Yeah, and so we do not. I believe Rydia should have warp at this point, right? So we'll be seeing the warp glitch come into play.
Yep, and plus with Tella having gone through ordeals, Tella has it as well. But that's correct. She learned it extremely early, and there are those Sirens.
Yeah. So the real what we could end up seeing here if things just like completely break Tybalt's way is obviously Val edges the character. You get a pink tail from Luca, and then maybe the other item is, let's say, the hook.
I mean, that's the jackpot right there of all kinds of things for sure. We know that we're definitely going to get one objective done here. That shop was interesting to me. The Dragon Whip could potentially be a way of one-shotting eggs, especially if we find a heroine robe along the way. Because if you're going to do a lot of eggs, you want to be able to kill them efficiently. We don't have a Dragoon Spear. We don't have Medusa arrows and a fast anchor, and we don't have Artie arrows either. And Living Tell's best.
How dangerous is this karate fight?
Slow anchored, it's a bit of a thing. We're looking at around 8,000, and as you can tell, it does hit a little bit. It's not stronger than Meteo, but Tella needs to be able to go ahead and survive. With that Mysidia kit, you start with 70 cure 2 pots, so it's punchy for sure. Without the MP glitch, this could definitely be a little bit on the sketchy side, but as long as Tella stays alive, Tybalt should be fine.
Okay. And then after this, it's the Val fight. We have Kane. Kane can jump, break that, but it's also a weak enough spot that just regular magic might get through.
Regular magic will absolutely get through. So Tella could queue up like a tier 3, like a tier 3 spell, and with a couple of melee attacks from Kane and from Sid, you'd be fine. I don't think you'd have to do the entire wait time for Media.
And we see the black cat Bluster is, instant zombie there.
Yeah, those black cats are very, very, very frustrating. But,
that's Foo.
Well, that definitely takes D Machine completely off the table. There's no reason to have that now. We knew that there was Val going to be here. 1,500 is quite a bit. I would have checked to see what spells he has. There's a good chance that you have Quake or you have Nuke, or even just Virus to get through. Tybalt might have forgotten that there is no magic defense at this spot. So that's going to be a little bit of a time loss. Should Possum go ahead and remember that. But Fu, one of our gated characters.
Fu is zombie now. That's scary.
It's not great. Virus does have an immediate cast. I think we're about 1,200, 1,300 away. Tybolt about to see that the spin is not relevant to the magic damage. Val goes down. A little spooky, a little scary there. A little touch and go with the zombies, but we are fine. I think I saw a nuke in there, so now we're really, really, really fine. And we're going to have 2 key item checks coming right up. And that's 1 objective down for Tybolt.
The thing is about Val is that sometimes you don't even want to get her out of the tornado, because I believe she just punches you when she gets out of the tornado, and if you have your party wigged and you have single-digit HP, well, zombies happen, as we saw.
Yeah, there's definitely times where leaving Val in the tornado is the way to go. You see that often when you are anchored and you have melee characters. And again, when there's no magic defense, you can just go ahead and virus or nuke or quake or what have you.
Baron Key.
To go along with that Sand Ruby could be Edge. We have progression now. At that Baron Key is out of logic. We don't know where the Luca Key is, so we don't quite know how we're supposed to get there, but I don't think that's terribly relevant just yet.
Yeah, and but yeah, that does get us to the basement, and that is another objective, so definitely gets further.
For sure. Tybolt's going to continue shopping. These are gated shops on S standard. Oh, is he going to do some job dwarf for us? Aw, that Tybolt. A free TR, not too bad. Oh, he's not. He's going to... Oh, there he goes back. For a teacher's aid. There we go.
He got me. I got japed.
Yeah. Oh, that cheeky Tybolt. Ninja hats for sale are nice. Pick a one that's +3 strength and more notably perhaps +3 agility. Assassin dagger, which I think we already picked up, and a full moon to back row that edge wherever he might be. Kane swinging for 272.
Hourglass 2s.
Yep, we'll definitely be picking those up. We'll sell something to go ahead and get it for sure. He must have picked one up along the way somewhere, but we're going to be doing some monster boxes, or if you come across, we've already seen dimps, but if we come across a free boss along the way, whether it's one of the guard sets, or if you get to, I don't know, you get to Dark Elf and you get to the second phase, Calcabrina dolls, there's more than enough reason to go ahead and pick those up. Those are extremely valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see Possum has already gotten through the karate fight, is about to get his foo.
Yep. So if I had to guess, one of the Rydias is going to go bye-bye. But everything I've guessed about what he's done has been incorrect. And yeah, there goes Tell, which makes a lot of sense. Also, he picked up an adamant armor at some point. So that's helpful.
That's
was the adamant armor from... I'm sorry, what was it?
That's Golbez insurance, because Golbez is kind of bugged in zombies.
Oh, that's true, yeah. So normally you can set up your Golbez fight by having your characters stay down, but Golbez is not guaranteed to go ahead and attack your zombies. So, yeah, that adamant armor is quite enormous. I'm assuming he must have picked that up in Eblin, which I wonder if he was fishing for that exactly. But he does remember about the lack of magic defense, 1 quake, 1 slash, and Val is down.
Yeah, that was a much better fight. Managed to keep 4 of the characters up and to get experience from it.
Mm-hmm. And so, Tybolt looks to be a little bit ahead in terms of checks, but that adamant armor, adamant foo is no joke. Adamant foo is a force to be reckoned with, especially with nuke, which I believe both foos have at this point.
And so we're no longer doing a boss hunt, but we do have case summons. So the king and queen spots could potentially be gating some items. There's also the free item that we're about to take a look at.
Yep, and we are still looking for Demist. That could definitely be a thing.
That was a Stardust Rod, I think.
It was. It's nice. It's certainly. I mean, for Tybalt, I think that might be a little more relevant than it will be for Possum because adamant armor, for at least for a little while, is more than likely going on that foo. And that's a gross Fey March with either Ruby or Elements in
Well,
the
we know,
Leviathan spot.
yeah, we saw Ruby already at Mount Hobbs, so that is elements.
Oh, true. Which is the lesser of the two evils over there, I think. But it's definitely not ideal. And some kind of sparkle over at a very speedy Asura spot. Black Belt for sale is a nice pickup. Pretty solid defense and +5 strength for our melee characters.
So would you just come back later to do those, or are you going to see if you can find some power to get through them?
No, I'm not doing that right now. Not with a pan bonk is one, and then 2 more turn-ins. Plus we have Baron Key, and there's an objective over there. No, I'm not.
Yeah. So it's
I'm not.
the classic adage of do your objectives, and we got an objective lined up already.
Yeah, and do your objectives, do your freebies is kind of the adage of free enterprise. Tybalt doing a lot of looting here. I'm not quite sure what he's looking for. When you have a foo, you're kind of good to go. But I don't know if he's looking for money for sirens or what have you. Speaking of, Possum buys a 10-pack, so he's loaded. He's good to go no matter what. Whether it be kind of hybrid strats for Zeromus between a nuke and then a attacking Kane and probably Edge or Cecil later on. But he certainly has the option to go ahead and do whatever he wants to do moving forward. So
now, would you also put the MP glitch on Fusoya just to get those nukes, like infinite nukes?
maybe before the dive in the LST. It's not terribly relevant right away. It's I mean, if I can pull it off quickly, I guess there's no harm in that. We also don't really have a white mage, although I guess we have the all the cure 2s, because if you cast cure on an MP glitched character from the menu, you're going to lose your MP glitch. But you can go ahead and heal up with the cure pots. So maybe if I can pull it off quickly, but with 190 HP, you know, how many new casts am I really going to do? And a lot of these checks have a heal. You know what I mean? If I you know, Baron is 3 checks without it, so maybe it might be worth the time.
Is Possum going to peek the sparkle?
He might. It's nice information to have. But
No,
if you haven't
he's just
saved,
exiting.
yeah, it's not. You know, if there was a sparkle that was a boss hunt, I think that's definitely something that you're going to go ahead and do. It's nice to have the information. You know, is Ogo there? Is it Plague? So I can go ahead and get set up for, you know, RA1, Berserker, or things of that nature.
Okay, and we are seeing the legendary single dip Fabul.
Yeah, not too bad.
Just a pair of guards.
Yeah, this is attacking with Fu is a choice that I can't wait to have fun asking him about. That was clearly a mismenu. Did not think Fu was going to be going first there, if I had to guess. And this is getting fun. When you are sized, you can still go ahead and cast your spells here. Center slot stone has a decent chance of getting off here, so this might be fine. It is fine. Bye guards. So an amusing, probably not exactly the way it was drawn up, but a fight that he's through, no problem.
Yeah, stone gets you through a lot of things that you know, you don't want to just do other ways.
Yeah. So have we seen this? Is this our first time seeing this check?
That is Tin Harp.
Well, that's an objective. So
okay, so we have Key, Baron Key, and Twin Harp are ready. We're turning in the pan right now, which could be more stuff.
And Baron has a character check, so that could potentially lead to Edge. We also still haven't checked the Sand Ruby, which could also lead to Edge.
A Life Rod, and I missed the first one.
That was a tower key. So when the time comes, we can go ahead and single dip the tower. No keyless tower today.
Is there any potential value in the cannon room?
Well, you know, it could be a Demist. And in terms, we still need a hook. We still need a pigtail. We still need both parts of forge. So it's a K main check for
Okay.
for things that we need. So the percentages are higher that it'll be there as opposed to other places.
It looks like Tybalt is going to give us some music.
It makes all the sense in the world. We, it's an objective, and we're right here, so might as well.
Now, what song are you hoping for?
Let's. Are these these are beta flags that we're on right now?
Nope.
Oh. I'm gonna hope for. I'm gonna hope to be wacky. Let's hope for Run from this game called Final Fantasy IV. That one, it gets more and more riveting every loop. So I'm gonna go ahead and hope for that. How about you?
I personally want something really
The Vanilla Harp song, just because what could be wackier than not random?
Is that even in the pool? I don't think I've done hundreds of these seats. I don't think I've ever heard that. I'd be curious to know if that's in the pool or not.
I actually don't know. I have to ask
I have no idea.
like Xenocat about this. I have no idea.
or COVID Tunes or somebody. So let's see if we can go ahead and you can stone your entire party here, and that will facilitate the cutscene going through. Tybalt's trying to figure out what he wants to do here. Debating a tier 3 spell.
Does stone have a 100% chance of hitting your entire party if you cast it on yourself?
Oh no, God no. If I'm the one casting it, it does have a 100% chance of missing. There's just a Cid in bed. He's going to stay in bed as if he just blew himself up trying to go ahead and seal off access to the Dark World. He's just in the wrong bed. We'll see if this Fire 3 kills here or not. Look at Foo's HP. Nope. So
okay, and Possum's going to go ahead and show us what's in the basement, I think.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see if he single dips Baron. The Baron basement is a significantly harder fight than the upper throne, but you can save time by doing all 3 fights at once. The vanilla Baiken fight, the Odin fight down in the basement, and then the vanilla Kenatsu fight afterwards. But we can go ahead and quietly reflect on this, because I do believe it is time for some music. Well, even when you have really high magic defense, a Fu casting Lit 3 on Octomam is just not gonna really do all that much. There's half a Forge.
Yep. And because we found the gauntlet up at Zot, that initial blue robe was just the water hag.
Yep, which we're through no problem. Possum continuing to leave that Rydia down, so anchoring is going to be set up going all the way through. And we are going to go ahead and do kind of the safer version here. Dark Elf is going to be no problem for this party.
Yeah. Additionally, that Odin spot is a summon spot, which means there is a possibility of getting the K summon key item there. So that could also help us with one of the other goals.
Yeah, I mean both of our runners are doing their objectives. It's just that Poss did Baron first, and Tybalt did Harp first, and here we see Tybalt and Baron, and it would not shock me to see these two flip-flop in just a moment here.
Is there anything that would make Possum divert from doing Twin Harp?
I mean, he hates it. I mean, he hates the check. The real life answer to that is when there is only 6 out of 7. Doing Baron where you can possibly get an edge. I said edge, not Eddie. Although Adamant Spoonword is interesting though. I don't think he's going to do it, but because the HP total is just so low, but it is very tempting.
I think if you gotten it earlier, that would have been viable. But this late, they're probably more set in what they want for their final party.
Yeah, 100%. Also, Eddie is notoriously unreliable during Z fights and is a counter nuke magnet. So it's nice, and the power is very, very, very strong. But there are better choices that are out there for sure. There's a possibility that you can get enough kind of breadcrumbs to do other objectives, and then you're good to go. We know from sitting here, from watching Tybalt, that Harp is hard required because Forge is on the table,
right?
Forge is there. So I think there's a very, very slight possibility that you can avoid doing it in the first place if you get progression elsewhere. But I think he just went to Baron just because he went to Baron.
And there could still be value at this basement, but we'll have to see. I mean, at the very least, it's an objective. The question is, what were you fighting, and what's the reward at the end?
Oh, 100%, yeah. So this Leviathan, it's free with Advent armor, and we're good to go here. But these ice 2s are gonna tickle a little bit. The magic power is pretty high here, and I believe that it's high in the vanilla game, so that Odin's Zentetsuken will go ahead and kill, unlike what we saw when it happened at the Magus spot. But 2 or 3 nukes and we're fine. The Adamant armor is going to go ahead and reduce it down to 1 against Fusoya, but it is very likely to kill Porum or Kane here. Yeah. So.
And one of the advantages of keeping that Rydia down is that at level 1, she doesn't have enough MP to use any of those spells that got unlocked by Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, no. She's pretty. She's kind of a useless zombie, which is ideal if you're gonna have a zombie child running around. So, Possum, understanding how much HP was left, instead of doing another new cast, did virus cast for the shorter animation time. Objective down. Another objective found. We can't turn it in yet, but that'll be a second adamant for his party. We just are waiting on a hook. But that is 2 objectives down for Possum, a 3rd one in the pocket once we can turn it in, and he'll be on his way for his 4th. And Tybalt is through his Dark Elf at the top of Baron, and is more than likely going right down to the bottom.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be... Tybalt didn't find that adamant armor, so is it going to be a slightly harder Leviathan fight?
Yep, it absolutely is. You might see a Star Veil, if they have them, which I believe they do. I think the Freedom Kit has Star Veils. You might see a Star Veil go up. The Star Veil will not prevent the wave cast. The wave cast takes 1/5 of your maximum HP off, so it can kill you over time. But it will reflect the ice 2s, so it does make the fight relatively free if you have the time to go ahead and do so. But yes, we saw that Possum's Fu got hit with an ice 2. I don't know that it would have killed him, but if you get some unfortunate RNG, then yes, it can definitely be more problematic. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but it's definitely going to be harder than Possum's was.
Okay, so I guess my next question is, where do they go after this? Because they only have half a Forge. I don't think they don't have Hook. Is Tower the play because you have the Tower key?
Absolutely, it's 2 K main objectives. It's 2 opportunities at D-Mist, and there's really not much left. I mean, really, we're looking at... You can't even, peek Zot 1 for D-Mist, or even do Luca key to see the boss. The only options that we have at this point, in terms of progression, are Tower with the Tower key, or Fey March, and I think most runners, 99% of the time, are going to do that.
Yeah, because the Fey March is not an exciting option based on what we saw earlier.
Correct. And on top of that, even saw the fact that in the calculation, the K main checks are more likely to have progression than the K summon checks. So, if both of those bosses were free and they were quick, you could coffin them or hourglass them or what have you. Maybe there's an argument to be made that you can just boom, boom, bang them out back to back. But I think it's extremely likely that our runners are more than likely headed directly up to Towers Up or to Lower Babel, excuse me.
Yeah, and if that doesn't have anything that pays off, would you rather see people go to the moon or people actually try and take those Fey March fights?
I mean, that'll be the only thing left. But we'll have to go ahead and think about that over our rendition of Zelda. Not the longest fight there ever was in the world. So it's interesting. We had quite a bit of divergence, but we are more than likely going to see probably both of our runners in relative sync heading right up the tower. Possum is better situated for things because of his anchoring situation as well as the adamant he has. Yeah. But Tybolt is going to be getting his adamant armor at some point when he presumably gets the hook. It's possible that no, the hook is hard required because launching the Falcon is an objective as well. So the impact from 0 adamant armors to 1 is huge. The impact from 1 adamant armor to 2 is not as significant. It's nice, don't get me wrong. It's definitely nice to have, but we're not going to really see that much of a difference. So the time that Possum spent going through going into Dwarf Castle and taking on the hair dryers, like, is that going to be worth it? Is he going to get the time back? But Tybolt's got a little switcheroo going on over here.
I mean, the possibility is also well, no, actually, if you got hooked, you're doing Pinktail before you're doing Falcon because that's just much faster.
For sure, yeah. Tybolt might be getting ready for a moon dive. I don't know if I would love that without the what are we doing here? Do we have 10 key items? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We do. We might be seeing a D machine on Tybolt's side. When you have 10 key items and 2 mages that can get a slingshot, then you are looking at a 3x3.
We got our Witch Burnout.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to be long for the world either, because that's only got like 1,000 HP or so there.
Yeah. So we were just talking about the time that Possum spent, looking for that adamant armor. Did he really get that time back? Up until this point, with this decision that our runners made, they are more or less tied up. Doing a D machine grind an hour in when you have sirens for sale, I don't know that you're going to necessarily get this time back.
And it seems like there's a lot of setup going into this.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're getting equipped pretty much, pretty close for the last time here. That's an off-slot Fu, and that Fu does not have adamant armor, so the weak is more...
Oh, there we go.
All right, well... so this is now 3 key item checks, not just 2, when we know it's Mom Bomb on the hook route. At the Ruby spot. I'm not a big fan of this play for Tybolt. I think that his time could be spent elsewhere.
Yeah, he's outside Baron. This is the step setup, right?
This is the step manip, correct? Yeah. So this came up during, I believe, ZZ3. Very, very smart people figured out how to go ahead and set up to get a D machine fight when you were on the can't run setting. So there is a manipulation a step manip you can do on the giant, and this is the one that you can do off the giant. You see the very careful steps happening because Tybalt is counting them, and then once you understand, where you've landed, then you know how many fights and in what spot you'll be at to go ahead and bring up your D machine fight when you go up to the giant. To bring up a point in chat, one of those mages is absolutely an Anger. There's no question. And I missed what we got from the top of tower there. Is that a package?
It looks like it, because the package is the only new key items I think we've seen.
Yeah, so that's another opportunity to go ahead and get edge. So the potential for this tower to be lucrative is pretty rich. We'll see what we got from the super cannon room. That package could be edge.
We're gonna. I was just going to say, we're going to miss it anyway to turn in Rydia's mom's check.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So this tower has the potential to be loaded. It could be 3 zonks still, but it certainly seems like the density of checks was here, and at the moment, mathematically at least, it seems like this was the right play.
Okay, so we're seeing Giant come on for Tybalt's Hood. After going through the D machine, D money, do you want to check what's at Giant 1 afterwards and possibly see if you can get to Giant 2 in case that edge is in fact at the behind the Giant?
Yeah, if it's free, that we are running out of spots where edge could be. We know where the package is as we see a pass, which is great. That really facilitates it. That pass for me solidifies that I'm going to go to the moon before I do the Fey March. What's left? Package, Giant, and is that it? Or the hook route. So, there's a solid chance that maybe that is where Edge is. So it depends on, who's there. If it's Beigen, no, I'm not doing it. If it's, and the Rat Tail, the value yet to be determined because we haven't seen the hook yet. If it's King Queen of Evelyn, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sit through that. So
well, we know that King Queen Evelyn is at Mist Cave.
Oh, true. Yeah, and we've already seen Water Hack, but
that is Cecil is the character there,
and we do have an Excal, and we have an Adamant armor. So Paz is going to go ahead and invest the time in here. This really hurts the Fu and Friends setup, and it looks like Tybalt might have had a miscalculation with the steps and has to start from scratch, which is a little bit rough. Tybalt does not have the Excal because that came from the trap chests in Evelyn Castle, so a Cecil is not as valuable to Tybalt as it is to Possum. But yeah. Paz is definitely more than able to go ahead and take out Zeromus at this point. We are very, very close to being Z ready.
Yeah, and so cutscene here. We're going to go fight whoever boss is taking the place of the Kaipo guards, and then that will have Cecil, and that Cecil will have some immediate value.
Yeah. Absolutely. To talk about a comment in chat from Plumeria, Fu and Friends, I don't think the Wacky flag would really affect it all too much if you were to do Fu and Friends, because everyone would be veiled up, and then with that first big bang, I don't, if it's a base level Rydia acting as a zombie, I don't see that really being an issue, and at some point the counter nukes would probably just kill the zombie version of her anyway, so I don't think that the Wacky flag this particular week would really affect executing a Fu and Friends all that much. It'd be a little bit different, but not debilitating by any stretch of the imagination.
I mean, if anything, that's an extra target for nuke, just because that zombie will be back after the first nuke or after the Big Bang ends. Oh, we got dolls coming in to try and take Cecil.
Yeah, we got some AoE. We're okay.
This isn't an event. This is like the second boss in the game, anyway. So there's like not going to be very much health or power here.
No, and when it's split between two forms, one Thor rage and down they go. So We have a Cecil in hand, and we have a very, very stacked and loaded Possum Morpheus. If I had to guess, and I've been wrong at every turn, probably heading to the moon. But because I said that, he is more than likely going to go straight up to the to the Fate March.
What other character
So
checks are left?
Well,
Evelyn Cave and Giant. Is there any others?
for characters, no, that's it. We've seen Zot, we've seen Baron, we've seen Sand Ruby, we've seen the Lunadias, we've seen the package.
Edge in Giant becoming increasingly possible.
I mean, I'll take the blame because I was the one who brought that up at the beginning. I
Yeah,
may have
I mean-
cursed it.
I mean, the first rule of anything when it comes to Restreamed is that pain for the runners is joy for the rest of us. So don't apologize. You should be taking credit for that. So,
In any case, right now, the main thing they probably want to find is that hook, because that's 2 guaranteed objectives.
yeah, and that hook could very easily have edge on the hook route. The hook could absolutely. I mean, we're hard required for that hook regardless.
And who needs a legend sword if you've got edge on the hook route?
Correct. That is correct. But even then, with the hook, you could rush the giant anyway because you know that that's the only spot left for the character to be.
Okay, so we got dueling grinds here. Obviously, we got D-Money on Tybalt's site. And then we just got your standard sirening eggs.
Yeah, Cecil's going to get like 30 levels here. So it's I think it's just this might be a one and done, maybe 2. But that Rydia, oh, that was a zombie. Okay, I was a little concerned for a second that she got levels. I got confused by her standing up there.
Nah, yeah, he took the time to make sure that she was undead.
Okay, so this Excal Adamant Armor Cecil Zeus Gauntlet's going to one-shot the eggs. It's another 7. Not sure when the multiplier is coming to effect. I can't imagine we're doing a ton more here. This isn't a situation where you would get, like pour them up to white or anything like that at all. Maybe Cure 4, maybe, but with all the key items and the moon checks, there's a ton of XP up there. I don't really.
It's mostly just making sure you got enough power to get through the rest of the stuff quickly.
Yeah. Tybolt's getting a little scary over here, but really heads up play casting stop on a D machine. You haven't really played Free Enterprise unless you have had a D machine fight go south.
I think all my D machine fights have gone south.
Yeah. And would you look at that? I said he'd go to the moon, and where does our glorious runner go? Of course, he's going to do the opposite of everything I say.
So does he feel with like the Excal Adamant Cecil that the Altman's fight might be super, like, not necessarily free, but at least not difficult?
I mean, everything's free. The seed is essentially over. You have a MP Glitch Foo, you have Adamant Cecil, and you're anchored. There's nothing that you can't do. Like, the seed is as over gets. It's just a matter of finding the hook and finding edge.
Okay, so Possum Bot looks like 3 coffins there. What are the potential uses other than just taking Riddy out faster?
It could speed up some bosses. Like, if you have I know we've seen Baron guards, but if you have Kaipo guards at the Ribbon Room, for example, and it's a lot of HP, or if you if the giant ends up being I mean, it can't be hard required for edge. You can do everything but if you end up going to the giant for edge and you have something in one of the very high HP spots, they can be coffin, they can save some time. And as you pointed out, which is a great point, just being able to go ahead and kill Rydia and only Rydia.
Okay, Plague at the Queen spot.
So, Anchored, this is free. If you have at least one RA1 Zerker, going non-stop. Very long story short, the queue can't resolve, and then the countdown never completes, so this is completely free.
Yeah, so we're getting berserk on probably Cecil, right?
Yep, absolutely. And we have radio going down, and we're done. And it's about, I want to say it's 23,000 here, so should be another 3 to 4 swings, probably 2 more swings after this one for Cecil. And then the fight's over.
Yeah,
So
there's nothing Zombie Riddy is going to be able to do to interfere with that.
No. Oh, that's wow. So the zombie, that's really funny. Okay.
Okay, super free.
Wow. All right. Well, there it is. We are still demachining over here on Tybolt's side. I got some art arrows to make, I guess, the egg grind even more free than it was. I'm not sure how many dragons Tybolt's done over there. So I wonder if you can time a nuke here after a swing, you might be able to skip the second phase of this.
Like that?
Or no, because that's going to bring Ruby up here. I'm surprised that X-Cal didn't do as much as it was going to.
Okay, so the idea was that X-Cal would bring us to Ruby and then Nuke would finish the job.
Yeah, but it probably would have had to be a Crystal Sword to get that particular set of resistances going through. Tell you what, though, there's a chance that this nuke, if this swing doesn't change phases, this nuke might actually do it. You can avoid the skip completely and just go on your merry way. And that's exactly what happens. Really nice fight for Possum.
Yeah, and like you said, at this point, with this setup and what he's got, it's what was a completely scary fight originally is now just nothing. And that was Hook.
That's huge. Did Tybolt forget to knock down his anchor video?
I could have been zombied. Well, it's on full health. That's kind of spooky.
Yeah, that might be a bit of a thing here. But I think first thing Poss is going to do is turn in his tails. Because if Pigtail is required, and if the Rat Tail is the Legend Sword, then we are in go mode. Because we need the moon. Yeah, maybe, chat. Maybe he did it on purpose. Not sure. Let's take a look at his menu here. Yeah, those are levels. So we got we have a lot of nuke, that's for sure. And Tybolt not checking the character, not interested in seeing if Edge is accessible there. He's got overwhelming power. And if I had to guess, with that overwhelming power, he's going to want to go ahead and probably go to the moon.
So you don't think Tybalt's going to do Fey March?
I don't know, but I've also been literally wrong about every single prediction this entire race, so I don't know that my words should be listened to in really any capacity whatsoever.
Second adamant armor, as you mentioned.
Yeah. Tybolt also, I don't think he's done the tower yet, so tower definitely gets done before the moon. But Fey March, I'm not so sure. And there's a Legend Sword, that's go mode for Poss at 1 hour and 15.
And he just has like the power already to handle the rest of that. Like the Z fight should not be very difficult at all with this setup.
No. And if it is Edge on the hook route, which there's a 50% chance that it is, he's not even going to need to raise the Falcon. I don't think he's going to shop. I don't think there's anything left to do. He's just going to go. And because I said that, he's going to do a lot of shopping and he's going to do other things. But if it's me, just go. There's no reason to check for anything else.
He did get Bacchus already, so he's probably not worried about that.
Nope. You're looking at some hybrid strats and call it a day, and one nerf and you're done. It's he's good to go here. So it'll be interesting to see if we do have a Falcon being launched, or if we're going to exit right out. We know it's Mom Bomb in the second spot. We don't know who's in the first spot. There's really nothing that scares us at this point. Let's see who the character is. And there he is. There's the man himself in all of his vanilla glory.
So at this point, we just warp out or exit out, go turn into Legend Sword, and then go fight Z.
That's correct, and you have the pass in hand. So there's a Supersmith on, so we'll get to see some kind of fun weapon that maybe somebody can use. Get something like a Lightbringer would be extra fun. But while we are kind of going through the motions here, I really encourage you to please give both of our runners a follow. Possum and Tybolt are both huge parts of the free enterprise community. And just with the rando world in general, we kind of see the world starting to collide, pardon the pun, of other randomizers. These two are set for an epic battle in a few weeks of not just free enterprise, and you see how entertaining that's been. But also, is he bringing it with him? Of course he is, because why not? It's a community race and it's wacky. Let's go ahead and bring the let's bring the hovercraft with us because we can. Short pause, great job, GG's buddy. But also in Mystic Quest and in Worlds Collide. So these two are great runners, great streams, good friends, and wonderful people. Yeah, and Joker, I know you are very involved in Worlds Collide as well. You were doing for Enterprise Seeds for a while. You were grinding pretty hard for a few months there.
Yeah, I've discovered that I'm way better on like being the helpful guy rather than the person who's actually running the seeds. Because let's be honest, I'm kind of terrible at it.
I mean, it's definitely a lot. But for those of you that are sitting there wanting to get involved with this amazing community and this just incredible randomizer that I love so much, as we see some good stuff there, crystal rings might be handy. We don't really need anything though. You're pretty loaded.
Yeah.
Please join us.
Yeah, I was going to just say like probably some of the best advice I've gotten is to do what you enjoy doing, and I was definitely stressing out when I was trying to be in races, and it was not as fun. And then I sort of got involved with the archipelago multi-world that you run, and that is kind of where I found like, okay, this is fun, and that's kind of why I just do mostly archipelago stuff now.
It's fair. Yeah, in our Discord, there's a newbies corner. We have community clubs. We have pickup races, we have guides, there's people that can go ahead and help you get involved in any way, shape, or form. These seeds can be overwhelming at first, but once you get the hang of it, it is just an absolute ton of fun, and we would love for you all to come in. There's nothing more than the veterans of Free Enterprise like to do than help newer runners. It's just a wonderful game.
Hey, John.
Yes, Joker?
There's some Z flags in chat. Is everyone getting tired and wanting to take a nap?
I think so, probably. Probably tired of me yammering on away. Or, it's possible that while we do have bosses and characters and items randomized all over the place, we can't possibly randomize Zeromus. He is too big, too bad, too terrible. We don't be fighting Zeromus in Antlion Cave. That'd be ridiculous. So we have we found the best way to possibly randomize Zeromus, and that is with their sprite. So we don't know what Zeromus is going to look like. So as a result, it leaves us with one very important question. Joker,
whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
And there are all kinds of ancillary questions about: does it have a butt? Is it cute? Does it wear a hat? And all kinds of things, because this community loves memes as much as I love junk food. And yeah, so we're gonna have this crystal get
also
thrown.
A zombie.
It could be. That'd be fun, right?
Oh, I hope so.
And then Possum knocks it down and comes back with 50% health. Yeah, that'd be fun. All right, let's see who we got tonight. It's vanilla, and you're gonna deal with it. That's hilarious. So we're anchored. We have two melee characters that are probably gonna swing for around 6k, 6 to 7k a pop. We're gonna have the first Big Bang get nerfed here. And probably the best target would be that Rydia. We'll see who gets hit. It is probably one of the rudest targets you could have, because that Kane... Ooh! Kane's got his dodge and shoes on today. Once you nerf a Big Bang, it cannot hit for more than 1200. And if we're reflecting nukes, I don't know that we're going to see a second Big Bang. We might go directly into...
The
You
classic
might go
possum
directly into
move.
rocks. Yep. If you all watch Possum, you know he loves to go ahead and give Porum a coffin. So to answer your question, Joker, from about an hour ago, it's entirely possible that that is the exact reason why he bought them.
Okay, so we got Possum Zombie.
Wait, does the Porum healing spells actually trigger the counter nukes on Zeromus?
Let's find out.
Oh no! Oh, it does! Oh no!
Uh-oh. Someone didn't think this through.
Meanwhile, we did see Tybalt go ahead and take Feymarch got his hook.
I mean, this Big Bang's gonna... The Big Bang hits the zombie, right? Okay. Alright, we're fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Second zombie's not nearly the same threat.
No, because you were talking about earlier how, you know, that Rydia didn't have any MP, so what's it gonna do? Well, that Porum had quite a bit of MP, and that's exactly what she did. So, this does mess things up a little bit, though, because I wonder if, to avoid the second Big Bang, if he was banking on continuing to reflect those nukes, and now he needs to take a turn to go ahead and heal up. So he's not in trouble. Like there's no real threat or real worry here. Worst case scenario is he has to go ahead and nerf a second one. And when your relative agility 1 and you're berserked, it gives you a real sense of timing as to when you can go ahead and throw out your nerf. And so you see the switch from the Life Staff to the Stardust Rod to go from a willpower boost to make the Cure 4 more powerful to a Wisdom boost, which is going to make this nuke more powerful. But you'll see Cecil swing, and then you'll see a nuke kind of go out here. So we're using Cecil and Kane's attacks to go through. We'll time it with Kane here, hit the menu, and we'll see this nuke go out. Really, anyone but Cecil here is best case scenario.
Was
So
there
we'll
enough
see,
to make Cecil go down?
So that's really unfortunate right there. That is going to be a full Big Bang because that nuke actually put them right into Meteo
that's
phase.
spooky.
So we need dodges. That Kane might not be dodging, and not to mention the fact that you have zombie. All right, so that dodged, and we have zombie. What is the Z fight? Are you kidding? Is that Crack Boom? Clearly, the way he drew it up.
What the
Thanks
heck?
to zombie Cecil killing Zeromus. It's big brain strats, baby, here in the free enterprise community. Give the most ludicrous and absurd GGs you possibly can in chat for the meme champ himself.
I think the
Possum
attack
Orpheus.
was skewed.
That was absolute madness.
I think Cecil had a
We
attack here or
really
something?
lived up to Wacky Flag here.
Like, that's got to be like a new meme objective at some point, right? Have your zombie do the last fight for...
I mean, I've seen it plenty of times in Worlds Collide. I was not expecting that to happen here because I didn't think Charm worked that way.
So let's GG's to our winner. Really winning at so many things at an hour 24. Hey, Puss?
Yeah, I got questions. I don't have answers, but I got questions.
Well. So, for first question, GG's. Let's start there. Let's get the formalities out of the way.
Thanks.
Moving on. So, when you hilarious coffin possum, because you know you're you, did you forget that as a zombie she could do some things?
We don't need to talk about that.
Okay. So the point of an interview would be to converse back and forth. But cool.
Okay, well, I'll play the role of Greg Popovich then. You play NBA sideline reporter, and yeah.
And was there a concern that was the plan? I'll ask you a real question. Was the plan to have reflected nukes on top of the berserked damage be enough to go ahead and bypass the second Big Bang, and that went out the window when you had to heal up?
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, I'm going to launch a couple of nukes and 2 viruses, and basically just bypass. Or if like I eat a full powered Big Bang 2, like whatever, someone's going to live. It should be fine. That someone would likely have been Fu. But yeah, the whole extra nuke coming out from the heel kind of put a wrench in that. And then when I did get down to the part where I was going to nerf, it was like, well, I could take the time to put a crystal into Z to guarantee I nerf because it's not direct damage, it's like indirect damage. But if I, hit with the nuke and it tips, so what? Whatever. We've got adamant armors. It's probably fine. And it was fine. So it was one of those where it's like, if I wipe, whatever. It's a race for fun. And the Z fight turned into a clown fiesta pretty early. So if I had to redo it, whatever, it is what it is. But in an actual tournament style race, as soon as I got that darkness crystal and the tell item and demachining, I didn't want to demachine for y'all though. When I figured if I find a Cecil, I've got an Excal and an adamant armor. If I find an Edge, I'll go find Ninja Swords, give him an adamant armor. If I find neither of them until very late, I'll do Fu and Friends. At no point did I want to, trudge through, not to mention I don't know where my demachine chart is, to bother doing that. And, haven't played much of this recently, so.
Right. For our newer, for our viewers that might be new to the community, is there a good way to ensure that your zombie Cecil doesn't hit your own party?
Yeah, I have questions. Remember when I said I had questions but not answers?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, we can flip this back and forth. Yeah, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah. Thanks, Marshawn. Was that a product of him having that action queued, and even when he turned into a zombie, it just hit Z anyway?
I don't think so.
That's my guess, because nothing else makes any sense. Because if he's charmed, he will have hit himself or someone else in the party, right?
But if it's an action to get him from swoon to zombie in the first place, how can there be an action stored in the queue? For what I'm saying?
So here's what we're gonna do. So what is the usual thing when I play for Enterprise and randomly, and it happens all too often, find a bug? Wylam!
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
That's my answer. Is Wylam is one of, if not the smartest people in this entire community, and can figure out all sorts of different things. And this is just another one where I'll see what happens on my end, which is end user testing, incidentally and accidentally, and let the smart guy behind the scenes figure it out. And he's done amazing work over the years figuring it out.
Get the science in on this one, folks.
Oh.
Yes.
I just realized, I noticed earlier, Tybalt did not find Rat Tail, so didn't have Legend Sword, but also didn't have Pass, so it skipped the tower entirely, and is having to walk LST.
Yeah. Well, that gives us more time to make fun of Possum. So, if you had done demachine right away, right? Because it was kind of screaming it with mages that you could sling and tell and all that. Would you have done
idea like that's the dream for slingshot?
Right. Would you have done Would you have done Evelyn?
No, I would have just full cleared. I would have full cleared the giant and the moon. Because the giant gives you a character chance as well, so Edge could have been there. At that point, Demist was still on the table. Not that you ever want to see Demist at 65k, but with two completely juiced Iridias, it's kind of whatever. Right. I was kind of hunting early on for direction, because Sid and Kane are not it. They're fine early, but I needed to transition out of early. And the adamant armor let me kind of get the ball rolling, but it was first of all, let me Meteo the hair dryers for fun, because lol. Didn't expect that to work, but it did. Just a glass hat, but whatever. And it was I'll go to Eblin and see if I can find something shiny for someone, and the adamant armor was shiny, and then when I got the Fu, I was okay, backup plan now, or I guess first plan becomes Fu and Friends. If I find a Cecil, though, I have an Excal and an Adamant. And that just becomes the way. And it was the package is the worst possible place to find this Cecil, but I'm recouping every bit of lost time by grabbing the guy with the big sword and an Adamant armor, knowing that I'm likely getting a second one as well. And any secondary Zerker with an Adamant armor gets me over the top, barring Porum casting heal on Zeromus.
Right. Also, we currently have Tybalt doing Pink Puffs because, of course, he is. So, if our stream happens to end and we never speak again, I just want you to know how much I've cherished our time together.
It's been a pleasure, man. And if anyone can do it, it's Tybalt. He's done it before, just on the wrong channel.
Yeah, and he did just stone them. Let's see. I'll never let go, Jack. I'll never let go. Oh, he got a lick. He
got a drop.
He got a drop. That's funny. Yeah, because I thought when I saw you doing like hair dryers and all that, I wondered if you were trying to set up your sling, but your sling was already set up. I didn't know what you were doing. And then, because when you have availability everywhere, you have underground access, you have darkness crystal, you have demon shit, like you can literally go anywhere. There's a lot of valid options. Early pan is 3 early checks. You have warp glitch for another 2. There's a million ways you could go that are all perfectly valid.
The thing was, I couldn't go places though. I didn't have the power to go places quickly. So, like any bit of time I put in to try to find power, I can recoup on the back end. Like even going into Dwarf Castle with not particularly strong Tella, Sid and Kane, that wasn't exactly appetizing. Like that Val on the back half, yeah, she goes down to a Meteo, but like you still gotta get through the first boss, and without an adamant armor, which I picked up, or the glass hat even from, the hair dryers, like Yang get the first spot it would take so much longer. So, like, I really do think I was just fine there, but I mean, it made it faster searching for extra things to do, extra power, and in the end game, it just kind of let me just steamroll, the power of Holy Sword Cecil. So, like, while everything was completely open, it was pretty closed down without doing exactly a D machine grind, which would have honestly led me pretty far astray here.
Yeah, you and me both.
The moon would have been a real bad place.
I'm sure. Joker, I could talk to him all day. I'm sorry, do you have any questions for our champ today?
I don't think we ever saw Golbez, so what is your bet on where Golbez is hiding?
I'm just going to guess the moon and take the odds-on approach.
Any particular spot?
What's the most annoying? I guess either Crystal Sword Altar or Cave Bahamut.
Okay, I think we saw on your thing that Cave Bahamut was a purple robe, so we'll go with Crystal Sword Altar. I don't think Tybalt ran into Golbez either at all.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't see anything. I didn't peek Cave Bahamut or even bother with that when I was out there. So
yeah, I was just asking because I remember at the beginning we mentioned that Golbez has some interesting interactions with the zombie Wacky flag.
Yeah. I read about that it's going to go through and triple cast shadow or try to eat 3 people no matter what. So it's interesting.
Fun. Well, is there any lore that's being set up with? I feel like every time I turn on Twitch, you're fighting with Tybalt. I'm on Restream, you're fighting in Tybalt. In a couple weeks, you're fighting Tybalt 3 times. Is this being like a? Is there a thing brewing here?
Brotherly love.
Oh, okay.
We set up a marathon submission, running a relay for Mystic Quest 4 and Free Enterprise and Worlds Collide. So, like, we're just gonna happen to run into each other, various events, and I happen to see that it was just Tybalt who had joined this one. I was like, well, we can do 2 things here. 1, we can try to take on Tybalt and Free Enterprise, and 2, we can have the restream fire. So. Accomplish both of those. But yeah, no, it's just cool to race Tybalt in all the different games.
Out of curiosity,
we're all good friends and play together a lot.
Of course.
Yeah, out of curiosity for that marathon that's coming up, do you know what flag sets you're going to be doing for those different games?
For Mystic Quest, it's a homebrew. For Free Enterprise, it's Adamant Cup group, but with a gentleman's agreement to Twin Harp as a mandatory objective. And then for Worlds Collide, it's Ultros League. So the Free Enterprise side, just think Adamant Cup groups. It's a nice, easy intro kind of flag set, but with a bunch of stuff you can do. And then also, putting the harp in there because everyone loves harp.
Except you.
Well, that's the me problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I am out. Definitely want to thank you for a very entertaining stream for both of you. I'm out of things that are appropriate for restream, question-wise. Joker, you got anything?
I'm good. Once again, GG and congrats.
Yeah, thank y'all. Appreciate the commentary. From all of you. I know that everyone hops in on the wacky races. Thank you, Alchemy, for doing the behind-the-scenes stuff. And Nay, I believe you were involved in this one as well. I think pushing some buttons. So yeah, just thank you everyone involved. John Burkhead, Joker, Alchemy, Nay, and GG's to Tybalt as well. And I think I see him popping in here. So take it away, bud. GG's.
GG's. Hey, buddy. Hi, Bolt.
There we go. My mic was actually turned off.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
GG's.
GG's.
So what'd you think?
Well, there's a bit of panic at Zot there when I saw the gauntlet, and 3 of my party members are betrayers.
Yep, yeah, a little Kane syndrome going on. Ironically, where Zot is one of the few moments where Kane doesn't betray, but yeah. I think the both of you definitely highlighted some different aspects of how fun. We'll use the word fun. Fun the zombie fly can be for us.
Oh yeah, fun. Let's see. I'm kicking myself a little bit because hindsight's like, I had Fu. I could have taken on the Fame March when I was down there the first time, and I didn't.
Yeah, I mean it's still gross. Even with
I
the
saw
food.
Sparkle. I knew his elements, and I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with this. I've got Fabul with the pan turn in. I've got Dark. I don't want to do this.
Yeah. What drove the decision to demachine an hour in?
I hadn't found much equipment for anybody. Like, the best thing I had for a cane was defense sword. Hadn't found any ninja swords. Didn't have a whole lot of money. And so it's like, well, who doesn't really need gear so much? Mages. And so I was just using what I had for a party to kind of get me to that point with the 10 key items, because really it takes a lot of experience to get to nuke.
Right.
Missed the treasure count. It was a nice number.
Oh, GG's on that. Good for you, good for us. And the decision not to leave one Rydia down was on purpose?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't need her, kind of beating me up too. It was kind of, I forget whether the Silk Witch was on or not, and being able to have somebody to pop an Ether on Rydia and then a Cure Pot on Fu after, him taking 380 from a flame, I was panicked a little bit there.
Yeah, but casting stop though was clutch and a veteran move. You haven't really experienced for Enterprise until you've bombed a demon grind or 12, and so understanding exactly how to stop the bleeding was perfect.
Yeah, well, I've had to stop the bleeding many a time, so
Yeah,
I've learned that very good fact of I have stop. I want somebody right after food to be able to stop the D machine.
that was perfect, 100%. Joker, what you got for him?
Probably the same question. I don't know. I don't think you saw Golbez, and we know that Golbez was going to have some fun interactions if we did encounter him. So where do you think Golbez might have been hiding?
A funny spot for Golbez at this point would actually be like Tower Key. Would be hilarious.
Yeah, that could be annoying for sure.
It's such a free fight, then all of a sudden half your party gets, turned into zombies, and all of a sudden, hey, Fu, Quake, done.
Yeah, that's for sure. What made you decide to do Fame March before doing Tower?
I'd seen what was down there. I didn't really know what was in the tower, and since I was going around shopping for tiaras and charm rods, Fame March just happened to be on the way.
That's fair. Did you have any temptation to go to the moon?
Not really. Not with the gear I had with my physical fighters, and then once I had done the grind, I'm like, I wanted to kind of clean up the Earth before going to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, after your D machine, you didn't peak the Giant 1 spot. Were you just not planning on doing that at all?
I wasn't planning on doing that at all. I knew at that particular time, Edge was either going to be Giant or Hook, or Package even. And I was just like, I'll probably try and find... I mean, I need to find the Hook anyways for another objective, possibly 2, depending on what the Rat Tail held. So I wasn't worried about a character at the Giant. The only thing that could really burn me there would be a Divas.
That makes sense. Well, that's definitely all I have. You two put on a very good show. It's fun. There's a, Haas did a lot of extra, he did hair dryers and did Eblin, and it gave him some power. But there was the point where you decided the D machine, and then he decided to go ahead and go to the tower. It was kind of the moment of divergence, and that kind of spelled out the seed. But y'all put on a great show as you always do, and I don't have any more questions. I just want to thank you for giving us something so fun to watch today.
I am so annoyed. I heard the music continue. It was so
what?
close. Oh, it's something that I've always done for a while now is that if I know I've lost the race, which I keep Discord open, I'm someone who actually does that. I saw Possum finished. I've got to walk down the moon. I've got a siren.
Oh
Just ready to do some ping puffs.
I know when it popped up, man. When you got a drop, I was like, oh, okay, just kidding. Only an elixir.
Yeah, you hear the music continue, like, and then you see an elixir, you're like, oh. One time I have done it once, but
we know.
Not on the free enterprise channel. I will get it again.
I know. I mean, I was talking earlier with you and Poss having so many races with each other. Like, are these like origin stories? And if you're actively trying to destroy the free, maybe you're the villain in this particular bit of fan fiction lore, as you keep trying to shut down the channel.
Me and Possum go way back with a rivalry, and it's just kind of fun to have. It's like it was always me and him and Baron Hero's Journey, which was another club of alchemies, and we would always go back and forth. He'd win one, I'd win one. And it's just always kind of nice to have that kind of friendly rivalry going on.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's that's such an amazing part. I can't promote this community enough. It's given me some of my my dearest, closest Twitch friends who have become real life friends, and the fun of just playing and racing and hanging out. The three of us have spent how many Tuesdays together now doing our multi-world. It's just the best community. I just love it so much. So can't thank you enough, buddy. This was great.
Not a problem. It's always a pleasure.
Take care.
Shout outs to y'all for putting on the show. I mean, we may be racing, but gotta have commentary to really put the show on. So thanks, Joker, and then Burkhead, and then Alchemy for revitalizing this club again from when Scholar ran it, and Nehru for doing the tracking. That was the end.
All right, well, GG's, my dude. Appreciate you.
Yeah, GG's.
So we're gonna be signing off tonight, but first, we must spin the wheel of the Wacky.
Ooh.
Yeah, here we are. We'll see
wheel
if we
Wacky.
get lucky
Turn.
or not.
All right, what are you hoping for, John?
Let's see.
Hold up.
I mean, I'm not gonna run. It gotta go fast is always funny and painful.
I removed it because we did that last week. Sorry, I copy-pasted the wrong list. There we go.
Okay. Honestly, anything other than unstackable is just pain. It's just pain.
Okay, let's see.
I'll go with payable go, Liz.
Time to punch.
Oh man!
It's time to punch.
Well,
it's time for everyone to be Yang.
Everyone is Yang.
Oh boy. Well, hope sirens are readily available early. That'll be a thing next week.
And of course, it's fist fight because I'm here. We all know the Yang meme with me.
It's very charming. What can I say?
That it is.
Well, on behalf of everyone here, I want to say thank you all for hanging out and for spending time with us. And hope that you come back for our restreams next week, and certainly for this wackiness as it continues next Sunday.
Take care, folks.
All right, y'all have a good night.